Hi, welcome to my channel KTB IOM. So the last thing I'm going to do now with prepping my MujinGung MJG is to just apply a bit of olive oil to the birch bark, which is quite dry. So let's just do a close-up. So you can see there it is quite white in places, greyish, and that is the dryness of the birch bark. The process of applying birch barks means that you have to boil the birch bark for a while to make it soft and pliable, and that just extracts all the oils from the birch bark, and once the birch bark is then glued onto the bow, then it obviously dries, and then it sort of ends up quite dry. So in order to restore some of the oils into the birch bark and fill all the microporous structures that exist in the birch, I'll apply a bit of olive oil so that let that soak in, and then when the bow's out in the field, if it rains or there's any moisture in the air or anything, it means that the water can't penetrate because it's already there's already oil in the birch bark, which acts as a barrier to prevent further water. And it's the process of drying and getting wet and drying and getting wet and drying that then makes the birch bark fragile and flaky, and it can fail and come off. So I've got the last bits of olive oil, so I'm just hoping that we've got enough here to use, but we don't need a lot. So got a few drops, so I've got some on my fingers, and immediately you can see the birch bark coming to life. I find this process quite therapeutic, quite calming. It doesn't take long, and I love the transformation in the birch. But let's have a look. So this is it with a layer of oil, so you can see a bit of a sheen from the oil as it's come through. But notice the shade of the birch bark now. It's got that lovely kind of brown look to it. In comparison, on the other side, it's matte and it's grey, whereas here we've got lovely brown coming out. So we're going to do now the top limb. And I notice up here on the top, the birch bark has bubbled a bit as it's been applied. Not sure you can see that. So I'm a bit concerned that if it were to fail anywhere, it's probably going to be there. So I'll have to keep an eye out for that part. Just try to see if I can get. It's disintegrated, these cotton things. They're soft and gentle, so it doesn't harm the birch, but they're also not very robust. Let's see if I can squeeze a bit more oil out of this bottle. Yeah, that should be plenty. So, a bit more oil. So making sure that you do the sides and the back, well, the belly, the birch that's on the belly. And also give it a little dab on the arrow pass. Touching up some of the spots on the lower limb again. And then a bit of a dry spot here. Or maybe that's just what the birch looks like. So there we go. So just now need to leave it to dry and absorb into the birch. Just looking, making sure everything's nice thinly coated. And I can't wait to shoot this tomorrow. See how it feels like. There we go. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye bye.